This conference will now be recorded.
All right, I'd like to call the to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Bob,
Here.
Lewis,
Here.
Wilson,
Here.
Stellick,
Here.
Hart,
Here.
Luther,
Here.
Winterstein.
Has everybody had a moment to look at today's agenda, and is there any modifications? If not, can I get a motion?
So move.
I guess. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of prior meeting minutes. Take a second to look through those. Is there any changes, modifications, questions? If not, can I get a motion?
Make a motion as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? On to business. Brown trout.
Brown Trout Committee obviously could not send somebody today. I know Peggy was not available, but she thought Brad was going to be here. So let's go down the agenda. Hopefully he shows up yet.
So we'll move over to Fresh Waves. I know Ann said that she was going to join, but she is stuck on a pontoon boat in Lake Charlevoix. So I think Shannon said she might have an email that she was going to present.
So it looks like Kayla Peaks was selected for the spot that we talked about at the marina there, which is where the stairs go up to the apartment. There's kind of a dead corner in there. So I had put that in as a request for Fresh Waves to put a mural in there to try to dress that area up and clean it up and stuff like that. And we got selected. And we had an artist that was interested in coming there. Oops. So this is kind of her style that she has. And this was one of her concepts for the wall. I think I shared most of this with you guys.
Mhm.
And then this was another one. And she came back with, this was her idea of what that would look like. They were going to do both walls in there.
How much does she charge to do that?
I don't know because we are not responsible for it.
Oh, we don't have to pay for it?
Basically, at this point with the DDA, the way Fresh Waves works is that they go, hey, you've been selected. And then once they find a location that is approves them to move forward, then the DDA enters into a conversation with the artist to go, okay, it's cost. They just don't provide budgets up front, which is
Yep.
for murals because they don't want people just.
And who pays for it? I mean, who writes the check?
DDA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because we're in the DDA district, because we're in the downtown district, we qualified for this mural to come here.
Okay.
And I submitted the marina building as a portion of it. We actually do get like a $500 stipend that we can use towards getting ready for it. So we bought primer today to prime the walls. We're replacing some glass panes. I'm going to put a piece of gutter up there just to keep it from splashing down on it. Little things like that that we can do to try to help do things towards it.
They have kind of a nautical theme.
So is there any prep to the walls that we have to do? or-
She asked us if we could primer it white.
Mhm.
So we grabbed,
More like any repairs or.
there's no repairs that we noticed on it. If we do, we'll actually be able to do those in-house.
Right.
We have a DPW who's a mason.
Okay.
So John Nike could come down and chink the walls or whatever. We're not seeing anything that's sticking out right now that we have to do anything with. There's a couple of glass panes that are broke that she's going to work around, but we're going to pull them out and actually repair them. If there's a little bit of that $500 left, I might go to Omega and have her possibly make us a little bit of extra art and print the same color as those. You know how you can get those screens like Kushan has on the front of the store right now? We'll get those and see if we can install them on those window panes just to kind of possibly do that. But that's what I would do above and beyond what DDA is going to do.
Shannon, reorient me on the location. I'm lost here a little bit.
Okay.
You're on the well side.
The well side, is that,
Yeah.
the well side was where the stairs are.
Yes.
I'll be looking up those
Yes.
deck up above.
Yes. The deck up above. The deck is that set of white stairs that goes up. Right here is the shop doors. So you would see this from Prentice.
There is a, yeah, see, I'm lost, yeah.
Yep, you would see that from Prentice Street.
Yep.
is where you would see that probably best from.
It's usually stuff piled in there.
Yeah, it's usually full of debris, and the debris is gone.
We're gonna, paint the rest of the building blue or something?
I'm actually gonna go after a facade grant from DDA also to reside, which would be the lake side of Kushan's and then the driveway side of Kushan's.
Okay.
That the other 3 sides aren't in horrible shape currently.
Okay.
3-4 sides.
Couple sides are.
Yeah, that great big flower bed kind of covers a lot of those other 2 walls there.
Okay.
And then the back wall is in fairly decent shape because that was originally the wall I was going to present for the mural, and decided that maybe this area here could use a little bit more love than that back wall.
Sounds good.
So if we're in favor of moving forward with Fresh Waves, the DDA needs us to basically say we approve it. Is that just a normal vote?
Yes, just a regular vote.
So I need a motion that basically says that we approve the Fresh Waves design as presented.
Could you back up and show us those one more time?
Yep. She, of course, modified them for the windows and stuff, but this is kind of the basic look of what that's going to.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to use both of them.
Underneath Fresh Waves, we are allowed very, very minor changes because the whole idea is that it's supposed to let the artist do what they submit rather than us go, oh, we want this, oh, we want that, we want this. But if we, for whatever reason, did like a color or something small, or like the lighthouse, would we want it to look, I'm assuming that's like a little red or whatever. Those are the small things, but we can't go, oh, we want that change, that change, and this change.
Yeah.
So
I'm not excited about the colors, either one of them, but I'm not gonna.
It's right there with art, it's one of those things that.
exactly.
Ain't worth it.
Because the rest of the building color-wise is going to stay that, the hope is to keep it that blue, or would you try to match it more?
I'm thinking we'll probably go more towards the gray that is the siding that is on the shop side. Is eventually where that building will move towards.
Okay.
Grays and whites. That's, I guess, my initial thought was I'm going to try to put that same gray siding for a dark gray. Kind of partial to dark gray siding. On the other 2 sides there to kind of try to dress things up. It pops really well with that white trim all over everything. No builders have stepped forward yet and told me that I'm silly and I shouldn't do that. So I'm looking at the one builder who is not arguing with me. So
Yeah, that's the one.
yep.
Okay.
So
I'll make a motion to accept the Fresh Waves.
I second.
cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Not a problem. We will get that. I will get a letter to Ann Gentry saying that you guys approved it. And then she can go ahead and get going with the artist. Usually when there's actually 2 murals going into Alpena this year. One will be here at the marina. The other one I've yet to be here privy to the location. But usually they like to kind of have them here at the same time. She said she was the other muralist doesn't want to be here till September. So she's going to leave that up to me and Kayla to kind of make a decision when we want to do this, because she'd like to see that mural in the marina this summer. So enjoyed by everybody.
Okay.
As part of the revitalization.
Shannon, underneath the Fresh Waves, what's going on? I know that there's one panel that still hasn't been painted.
Mhm.
I check.
That is a local artist, and he is yet to get around to it. Between COVID and his regular responsibilities and everything else, my understanding is he was supposed to be there multiple different times, and multiple different things have happened. So
That's the panels by the parking lot, right?
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful because like DDA, but yeah, I guess for me, it's like I was expecting all this to be done. I know it's not the DDA's fault.
hmm
But
I can
just
draw
thought I'd
something
ask about
if
that.
you want.
Huh?
I'll draw a stick figure and
Hey man,
That'd be
it's all you. Draw 6 for you on a sailboat.
Or,
Kind of
yeah.
stuff.
So I mean, that one is kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a rabbit in a snowstorm or whatever. That's what I'm going to right now. If anybody asks, rabbit in a snowstorm. So.
Cool.
Or we can put a time, they can put a deadline. If the guy doesn't do it by a certain day, just get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, I think there was,
That's something we
You
can
gotta
talk
tell the
to
guy-
them about.
you gotta give him a deadline, yeah, probably at this point, or never get done.
Right, and I think it's just, yeah, there's always going to be something, and it might be something where we can reach out
Yeah.
to see if there's somebody else that could do it or
Mhm.
whatever. I'd also like to, I'm going to reach out to, kind of in the same genre or whatever, I'd like to reach out to Art in the Loft. I know they have some like art classes for kids during the summer and stuff.
Might be good.
And I want to see if they'll possibly do like a mural class for kids and paint the boards that go on the fish cleaning station for winter to clean that up. So I was going to reach out to them and see if they would consider that.
Okay.
The worst they're going to say is no.
cool. All right, well, move on to River and, how do you say your first name? Kayla?
Kayla.
Kayla, okay.
Yep.
I see a T, so it got me messed up for a second. But on to request for reduced slips for students.
Yes, I was approached by these two young individuals to come and address the board in relation to slip fees and to the youth. So I'm just going to let them go ahead and take over. Wherever you want to do, River, wherever makes you happy.
So thank you for letting us come and join you guys. So Kayla and I started sailing in our youth sailing program years ago when we were like this big. And, you know, from doing that, we grew a fascination in sailing and racing. And, you know, as we got older, we bought boats. I personally bought a boat before I had a driver's license and redid it and brought it into the marina and absolutely fell in love with it. And, you know, coming to find that, you know, dock slips are very expensive for full-time students. You know, both Kayla and I are, you know, during the winter, are full-time students, you know, getting a full load of classes. And, you know, working very little in the winter. Our only time that we work is usually in the summer. And, you know, by the time that we work and do all our other projects, you know, it's very hard for us to afford these slips. And I know it's, you know, we bought boats and we should have seen this coming. But it's just a huge help to possibly have that reduced.
With the older generation of sailors kind of slowing down, I think it would be important to promote a little bit of price decrease in the boat slips so that you get more people interested in docking their boats at the marina during the summer, and they're more inclined to keep coming back to the harbor after their positive experiences when they were younger and seeing the improvements that the harbor has been making. So when they're over the age of, you know, being out of college and being a full-time student, they're still wanting to continue their sailing and keep them moving.
What we would propose is for students that, you know, full-time students, you know, under the age of 25, that are taking on a full load of students. And the reason I say age 25 is usually insurance for health benefits. You know, a family can consider you know, that student, you know, under their coverage. So after that, you know, usually it would be done by school. But, you know, we have a really beautiful area and a great, you know, place to learn. And, you know, we don't have very much for youth activities, and this is something that we found that we enjoy a lot. Promoting that youth, you know, youth boating in general in our area can be beneficial in the long run because we are the next generation of boaters for this area.
Refresh our relationship now, whether it's pushed out a year, is it not, before we do anything with the?
It's pushed out a year right now for the youth sailing, Yinglings, and the Sea Scout.
Okay.
Are the ones right now that would have their wave around or whatever. Right now they're the ones that are pushed out a year as far as that's concerned. This would be above and beyond. They're asking for every student in the marina to have a discounted rate.
Which is not what we have right now. Which is not what we have right now.
Yeah, right now they're not covered by that discount because they are actual registered boat owners. These are boats that are not part of the youth sailing league.
Which is what River's talking about. That's his own personal.
His own personal boats.
Registered in my name.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon, do you know how many people we have existing right now that have slips that would qualify?
I believe there's 5 slips that would qualify for that.
Who's the other ones?
Sexton was one, and then there's another girl. I don't know what her situation is. I think she's a full-time student. Is a Whitlow.
She has, she has Yingling?
She's got a she's got a 32 foot Catalina something or other.
Oh.
It's not a sailboat. It's an actual power boat. She's
Got a little power.
she's over in Power or Charter Row.
Oh, okay.
It's a little. Yeah, I can't think of what the actual boat is, but she is the other one that came to mind that she could possibly qualify for this.
So River, you're saying a reduced rate to what?
Half off.
Ooh.
Very greedy. But any, discount of any sort would be appreciated for us.
Do you foresee it, like, I guess I had two questions. So the first one being, have you had other people around that age range that would qualify that have expressed that they would buy a boat knowing that there'd be a discount? I'm assuming this is kind of a more new development for you, so maybe you haven't had that conversation.
Nobody that I know of, and specifically, and obviously, like, I don't want to make this into a, hey, if you buy a boat, the prices will be reduced for you because then it's, kind of using something. I feel like you'd be kind of taken away from something that, it's not really a passion where, we both got boats at young ages because we really enjoyed it, and it's been part of our life for the past years. And so it's just kind of trickled down to this.
Okay. And then the second question I have, would you envision this only being applied to like a recreational boat or what have you? Or would you also have, say, someone part of the group wanted to buy like a Yingling as opposed, because the Yingling split the slips, right?
Yanglings have options.
They have options. Okay.
Yes.
I would say it would be, for any powerboat or motorboat, and for an Yingling, it could be the same rate, but obviously, like she says, we share slips, and personally this year I'm sharing a slip with 3 other people, for, just to bring the dockage down, because obviously paying, that much money for 2 boats is a lot. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
So we would do all the youth, full-time students,
25 and under was the
25 and
recommendation
under.
by River.
Mm-hmm.
and that would just full-time student on your honor system, I assume. We're not going to monitor any other way.
I mean,
Right.
the way would be to
Bring a transcript or something.
bring it
Well, and that's
transcripts, which I've done for student verification back in the day. So
That'd be a good idea to have a transcript, just to make sure there are no people that are abusing.
well, and that's partially my concern with this is the abuse that could happen with it.
Because
Definitely.
as a dad who maybe I have a 18-year-old kid, I register my boat in their name and I get half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against you, River. I'm just thinking of the potential pitfalls here.
Right.
What you would do to save some money.
Exactly. That might have to be my grandkids if I ever have them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
And that's
like if you had a request for transcripts or whatever, like that extra level, that would be. I mean, also like I feel like if Shannon knows this is like, gosh, this boat's supposed to be River's boat, but Dad seems to be the only one ever on it, then it could be an under. I mean,
right.
be a bit of
So there's
an idea of like, wait a second, what's going on here?
and maybe we don't just automatically do it. I mean, maybe they got to come and
Got to
ask.
come and present it.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that's
What do you want to do?
it's a $3,400 hit to the marina. So I will put that out there. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Am I against the kids doing this? No. I'm going to throw out the devil's advocate things that, that could come up and hit us. One of them was everybody registers their boat in their 18-year-old kid's name, and all of a sudden half of we're out of, slip fees are going crazy down.
Cap so many available.
We could.
First serve. And like you said, if the marina slips are full, people that are there now are
Mhm.
have boats.
Yep.
You could regulate that and see, obviously if someone changes their registration of the boat and you have some guy that has got a beautiful
Yeah.
$100,000 boat and it's registered in his kid's name, you obviously know that that's just not possible.
Right. And there's one other thing that this was brought up is that a couple of these boats are in premium spots.
So I was thinking.
That was my concern is the demand.
Yeah.
If I've got my 42 footer and
Yep.
I'm waiting for a slip and I can't get one because you're discounting
Right.
That's there were a couple of things that I was going to throw it as devil's advocate is $3,400 hit to the marina. Can we get around it? Sure. But remember we cut budget this year to get rid of things. So there's that. And it's my job to play devil's advocate. It's not that I'm against the kids having their boats in here or promoting sailing or anything like that. But these are the things that come to mind. There's at least 2 boats that are in premium locations, a third possibly in a premium location, where people have a waiting list
For those spots.
for that side of the marina or whatever. Just little things like that. Just those are the things that are, the people registering, well, the boat is half in my son's name, so you should give me this discount, those kind of things. So those are the things that come to mind.
Well, I guess you could do some sort of proof that they own it. I guess the name would have to be on.
I mean, registration or the title.
Mhm.
And no other name.
And you couldn't ask if they had insurance on it. Or could you?
I can.
Because I mean, for me, like if someone said, "Oh, what's your insurance?" I mean, it's in both Jason's and my name.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the boat is owned by everybody in that age bracket.
And that's one way to get around it is if everybody on all the documentation has to be under the age of.
Right. You wouldn't want to split it between a parent and you wouldn't want to have in River, you own the boat's just your parents' names on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, if all of a sudden he wanted to add his mom or dad to it, then that could be one way of checking.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a transcript from every member to prove that they're.
A screening every year to check for, you have the transcript that it's registered in your name, insurance is in your name,
Mm-hmm.
Those categories are met, and also that you have to ask, not just assume.
Right.
Do you want a discount on storage too?
No.
Okay. So make sure we're just talking slips only.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the premium piece? Because I think the demand is gonna, we're gonna the demand is out, the demand is out there greater than we can supply right now.
But you are devil's advocate. You are dealing, like Kayla said, you're dealing with an aging boating population. And I think the yacht club has been one of those groups that has identified that they need to be bringing in younger boaters into the community. So, I mean, that could be the advocate is like, what's better to get the premium spots or are you suggesting maybe moving boats into less premium?
That would be my thought. I mean, do you move them over to the, I guess
Like the floaters?
the floater,
The transient.
transient dock.
Yeah.
What's open everything's full on the, across from the yacht club too, right? Those are.
Mm-hmm. Other than the UDOC.
Yeah.
And what's open on the Yingling's dock side, or the.
Yeah, whatever.
What do we call our side?
Or whatever. Yeah. It's full, isn't it? She's saying, looks like
The
nothing
waste
maybe.
There's a waiting list now, folks.
Or is it-
I mean, that's all good news, but
Yeah.
doesn't help these guys.
No. We have actually filled all the slots that we have filled them as far as that's concerned, as far as seasonal. We've filled all of the available slots that we have.
Yeah.
The UDOC, I've got 4 at the UDOC that we can't use the UDOC. If somebody wanted, it was absolutely positively, oh my God, I have to have a slip.
Yeah, it's your back.
That's pretty much what I can do for them at this point in time is you can go to the UDOC.
I guess my question is the 50% a do or die for your ability to keep a boat at the slip, or is that a preferred number, or is that like?
It was just an idea of something to throw out. I mean, obviously last year I paid for my slip, without, running behind dues or being told to pay for it. I worked hard for it. I worked multiple jobs. I worked multiple jobs just to buy the boat in general.
Yeah.
And then now I've acquired an angling. Somebody, so, just going up and, boats are, boat stands will bring on another 1,000. They're constant projects, and it's like it's a passion that I've really grown. I love doing it. It's going to stay with me for the rest of my life, and this is just something that can make that even more, doable for us.
And personally, this year for me, I had to do some more expensive repairs on my boat that I had to pay for. So this season, it was kind of, well, do I fix the boat or do I pay for the slip? Because when you're only able to work weekends while you're going to school, you don't make much money to be able to afford both at the same time for the summer. So you run into that issue also where you're not able to even put your boat in the harbor for the summer. So then you're losing that money from the younger population also. So even if it was not a 50% decrease in the price of the slip, if it was some type of decrease, it'd be a major help because at least then you're still having more people in the harbor. And if you're putting in your reservation for the slip for the following year, you know how many students are going to be there. You can have their transcripts and make sure that they were in school for both semesters of college and they were actually working during the time also.
Like you said, slips are full right now, and so the people that are there right now are the people that are there. There's very few of us as of now.
Right. I mean, right now, like I said, I think we're looking at 5. That I can come up with in my head right now 5 students, and the one is I don't know definitely if she is or not. I'm guessing.
I think you should cap it.
Yeah, cap it at 5.
Since we have 5, this should be the most.
Have them, apply at the beginning of the season, first come.
I will say, I think the way we're talking, I think there needs to be some kind of like formal application, not just a blanket, oh, you qualify, like here you go. It needs to be like what you two is value people coming, actually taking the time. So someone could be a full-time student, that's great, but they need to come submit an application and come here for review.
Okay.
I think if we're going to go with some level of percentage discount or whatever,
Okay.
it needs to be some
Like every year.
formal walk. Every year you reapply.
Okay.
All like we said, all owners need to be under a certain age. They have to prove through transcripts or whatever. I mean, shoot, I could always talk to Romeo Badage and be like, hey, what's the best way to prove that? And he might go, oh, you could just call the school or whatever.
A letter verifying or whatever.
Verifying or-
College, I think it's easy to say you just need a copy of a transcript.
Yeah.
High school, you can get a transcript, but it might just be as easy for the
Not too many
counselor to write out.
full-time high schoolers too. So
It's full-time, like 12 credit hours?
So full-time, meaning that this is full-time for college student. I know for a high schooler, it's usually a full,
Right.
you're required to have a full schedule, 7:30 to 2:30 in the morning, or a full 6 credits. I don't know what it is for college.
Just 12 hours.
I think 12 credit hours.
Go when we were in college.
So the slip fees now, what's the lowest slip fee we have?
$13.50.
And that's what you guys are paying?
Yes.
And then the Yingling, Kayla, you guys are splitting it. What's the Yingling?
900.
500?
9.
you are between
They're down to 900, splitting it up?
per.
So the Inglings are 900 per boat.
Okay.
That's with 3 of them in a well, I believe.
Yes. With 3 of yous in a well, it's 900 per boat.
Okay.
That's not the youth sailing.
You sailing kids are a completely different comp.
Tripling up.
Okay.
Whatever.
They have to triple up too.
So, and do we cap it to 1 boat per person? I know. But
She's gonna kill you.
Somebody wants 2.
But yeah, I mean,
Somebody would like to have 2.
yeah.
All right.
What about power?
are we doing
Yeah, I'm a
we got rid of the discount for having 2 boats, right?
19 and I got.
That's right. There is no discount for having 2 slips, right?
Correct. There's no discount for 2 slips. I'm sorry, Al.
Yeah, I think you still fall into it. It doesn't matter what type of boat you have.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. So I guess we need a motion or something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'd like a little more clarification from you guys. What are you thinking right now?
So I think what's on the table, as I understand right now, is that if we move forward with it, there needs to be some way of regulating, and that's proof.
Yep.
1, the person has to apply for it. 2,
Okay.
to show proof that they're a full-time student and that they qualify to be in that category. We need to establish ownership to give a discount. Well, establish ownership, and then we need to also establish what % of discount, and if it applies for if someone owns 2 sailboats, does it apply for two, or do we cap it for one boat per person? And there's a cap of how many student discount rates we can give per the marina.
So I think all those points up to is, I think we're down to, I think we're probably in agreement to do some sort of discount, but what is that number?
Yeah.
Well, and it could be a cascading one. It could be something where we discuss, with them, what do you really honestly believe you can afford?
That's true.
Up to
X number, yeah.
I think
50%.
it'd be easier just to pick a percentage,
Yeah, I
call it
think
good.
so too.
Just make it simple, easy, call it good.
one.
Huh?
You're talking about just a blanket percentage, yeah.
This is what it is. And it's,
So I'm struggling a little bit with the two slip thing. Sorry, River. But, so if we're going to cap it at 5, we're actually talking 6 then.
Not really, because somebody, either another student wouldn't get selected and River would get 2 or.
I'm not sure if Griffin is a full-time student because he said culinary.
Who's that?
Griffin, I don't know what his status is in class.
Griffin told me he was going to class this.
I know.
And
It's going for 3 spots.
because I mean, if he got the 25%, was that like roughly 325,
Yeah, I can do math here.
300s on his situation, which would bring him down to just under 1,000.
Yeah, it'd be right around 1,000, 1,012.
Teenage wasteland, yeah.
You really believe that it's an older boating group in the harbor now than there was 3 years ago? I don't think so. I think it's a younger group and getting younger.
well, we're getting older.
Yeah.
Some of us fast.
At least we're still voting.
Yeah, we're aging out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I guess I don't know what the demographics are, but.
All right, so now we got,
Yeah, but I would,
got-
that argument up to.
Yeah. Well,
I think we should give them some break.
yeah, I agree with the break, and it's good to have kids coming, and these two obviously have built the sailing community around here quite a bit, so.
How do you deal with the demand piece? So that's what I'm thinking, because I really think we have a responsibility to address that.
Man.
Huh?
Like what, meaning like if we have a full demand slip with the wait list and then we're giving certain people a discount.
Yeah, I really think you got to define the slips they get access to at a discounted rate, be my view.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, yeah.
But basically like this is the spot, if you want the discount rate, your boat has to be
I'm thinking
parked
that
in
way,
that area. Yeah.
You know, because you're looking at Rodeo Drive there, that's where most people want to be.
The least desirable spot is in front of the waste treatment plant down at the end of the Inglings are.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Well, and I'm not.
We're paying full price now.
I'm not being heartless, but there's a lot of comped boats that sit on that set of docks.
Not complaining, we're just saying where we are. Oh, we're in the ghetto.
You are ghetto fabulous down there. I'm just going to tell you, you're all ghetto fabulous.
I'd say they can't tell the difference in the smell between us and the.
So for you two, I mean, what we're saying, what's going on here is, we're talking about you wouldn't be able to park near us. You'd be in a different spot. Would that deter in any way your boating situation?
My teenage wasteland is a slip that I waited on the waiting list for months prior before getting. And I enjoy the convenience of it and the accessibility of it. So if I didn't want to move, I would understand it. But maybe I would take the reduction on my handling instead because I ultimately would not want to give up my spot over there. I know it's like a lot, but like I said.
Yeah.
Personally, I just have one boat and
Yeah.
be in the same spot.
Yeah.
And everyone else has, it doesn't really matter to me, but I think if you're wanting a discounted rate on your slip, that you should be the less prime spot to dock it, because it makes sense. People are on a wait list, they have their nicer boats, like River said, you have your little community members on one spot. And if you're on the other side of the harbor, you don't have those people right there to talk with and, grow closer with in the boating community.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Sure.
All right, let's do this. Let's say you have to be under 25, full-time student, you got to prove you own the boat. Those are the 3 components, right?
Was everyone that owned the boat had to be under the
25.
Had to be 25.
And
We have an insurance requirement.
We do make them list insurance, and it could be on the application that I will develop for it, that They have to give me proof of insurance.
And that can have folks' name on it, because that's, if they're living at home, they're.
It's a rider.
That was my question for you two. Would it be unusual to see a 16-year-old with a parent's
Yeah,
name on the
it'd be
insurance?
typical, very common.
You'd have to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Maybe that wouldn't be as.
that's not really,
Okay.
I don't think that's significant.
Okay.
I would do that. I'd say one slip per person, max 5,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to be in the ghetto section or in the, what's our dock?
Transient. We call it the
Transient, our transient.
Yeah, don't put that in the minutes.
Yeah, don't report that either. You gotta take that out. In the transient. When are you gonna continue, Wayne, on your? And we'll give them a 50% discount.
Okay.
Okay. We need to vote and then discuss, right?
No.
Actually, we've discussed.
And discuss.
You need a second.
And then a quick discuss and then the vote, yeah. That's my motion.
Do I have a second?
I support that.
And then on to discussion.
I think that's a reasonable.
Yeah, because we're making them apply. They have to come to us, not just a blanket
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
And then they have to prove it.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to define what school is?
No,
Because you look at
Yeah.
Griffin is going to culinary school. Are we going to consider that? Are we going to consider kids who are going to trade school?
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
they're
it's
full.
the educational,
I think it's part of their pitch to us too.
any educational.
Okay.
Yeah.
So River, what you obviously would want to stay in your current slip. So you have the option of either saying, okay, I guess I pay more, I pay the freight and I stay there.
Right.
Or get a discounted rate at 50%.
Am I the only person in that like quality slip on that strip there?
No.
Who wants to say?
Sexton.
Okay, so
And Sexton's in Rhode Island right now, right?
Yes.
So what? I thought he had is that other England his? Or?
No.
it's Catalina that he bought.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, but Joe's,
You know.
but my father-in-law's old boat.
And
Is right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that we could maybe consider leaving them where they're at if there's not a wait list
Well, yeah,
for that move.
That's fair.
that's fair enough.
I don't know if I like a grandfathered in, but obviously
Mhm.
No, it's just hard because we're trying to have, accommodate and generate money, and you have people, it's just a tough call on it. I think you have to move, if you're going to give people a break, you got to move them to the least desirable area, and the people who are willing to pay the full amount have the more desirable. I mean, that's just how it.
Yeah, I think that's a responsibility we have to
Yeah.
say that.
Right.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we're gonna.
Because you don't want to have the whole row of, if you had all 5 of you lined up there at the most prime spots, and then we're rejecting, people don't, the people want to pay full amount, don't want to be down at the other end. I mean, that just doesn't make
And
any sense.
potentially, I mean, a 40-footer could go in there. Now you're really losing a bunch of money.
Yes.
So we'd have to be willing to move. That's fair enough. I think that's fair.
Well, and I guess to me, if you're asking me for a discount, go where I tell you to. I'm not trying to be heartless, but
I think we've done a
That's
good
not
job, and
It's not unfair.
We didn't put a cap. Did we put a cap in the motion?
5.
I've,
Cassie, have all of that.
I think so.
Yeah.
okay.
So just
Better read next month.
on the discussion and a clear
Minutes.
if someone has a Yingling and they qualify in the parameters we're giving them, let's say they have a Yingling and they share the slip with 2 other people that are not of the age, it doesn't apply it's just their own.
Just specifically their slip fee, because their slip fees are individual.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'd be sharing one with them then.
Yeah.
I'd call a question. Listeners, other thoughts? I mean,
He just told you to vote.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, I guess.
Let me give you the Cliff version of Robert's Rules of Order. He just told you to vote.
Wrap it up.
So,
Yeah, get over this.
So can I, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and it's gonna, at this point in time, be a recommendation. I will have to clear it with the city manager that is allowable, but I will take this recommendation to the city manager. If she is on board with it at that point in time, I will work with these guys right now as far as we'll hold off on getting their slip fees until we get through the application process with them this season. That is another thing I was going to talk to you two about. Is it easier for me to even possibly delay some of the slip fees?
Usually, yeah, because we, in the summer, we can only work, with the schools, I can only work like 15 hours a week, just with the regulations of, my age. And so usually in summer, I usually will start working more, and so I can afford it. So that does help a lot.
Okay, so if I was, and I will approach her too on, because everybody's due June 1st, possibly with our youth, we also
Defer it.
till later in the summer.
Maybe they
July
can make
1.
payments or something.
Yeah,
or-
something.
Yeah, make monthly payments or something like that. So those are a couple different options I will take to the city manager.
No need, it doesn't go to council or anything. I mean,
I don't believe it's got to go to council. I believe this is something her and I can decide together. Mostly you guys have made the recommendation. I will go to her then with this, and if we feel we have to go to council with it, I will let you guys know and then get the memo ready to go to council.
All right.
But so I think so long as we have a motion on it, we may have to write another standard operating procedure and have it approved long-term, but it may be something where we can just do that at the next meeting or whatever.
On the brown trout.
The brown trout who did not show, so I was hoping they would be here. Sounds like I got a full slate of fun this year for everybody. We're gonna try, we met with them in February briefly to kind of go over their needs, our needs, things like that. I think we discussed, we're gonna give them a $15 for everybody to launch their boats this year, as far as that was concerned. Because the regular is 25 for the year for city and 50 for non-city. So if you're launching your boat for the week, not hanging in my slip, we'll give you a discount. I do have actually 3 reservations already for brown trout.
Good.
So this is good. And we're going to, we talked to them, we're going to close the farmer's market structure for parking this year for trailers and vehicles, just to try to alleviate some of the parking inside the marina. We're going to give parking passes, 1 parking pass per slip to the marina holders with availability in there just for them to be able to park inside the grounds. I know some of them were upset that, well, my wife comes down here and everything else, carpool. In all honesty.
It's not unreasonable. I mean, it's busy down
They
here.
used to do that, actually.
Yeah.
They had a thing
Yeah.
so you could drive in, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to have, Cassie was going to make me, she doesn't know this yet. Cassie was going to make me some kind of little pass that we could laminate and just an ugly fish or something, and they can hold it up when they go in, and they'll get 1.
Yeah.
I know several of the slip people were like, well, we want them to not park in these spots and stuff. No, it's a public parking lot.
Right.
If you get there on time, then you get to park in front of your boat.
Not gonna kill them.
It's never really been an issue because we, in other years, just parked over by the yacht club and walked over.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
Well, and if you're hauling in multiple cases of beer or whatever it is that you're worried about getting to your dock, 1 person can get in with the parking pass.
It's not a problem.
Yes. So I think that's.
And we have the carts, and we have the temporary slip that you could go to if you need to load up the boat with a bunch of, because you're doing it overnight or whatever. So I think
we can make it work. Okay, so that's, other than that, I know they have, like I said, a couple really decent concerts and stuff coming in. And I guess a Kiss tribute or something like that is going to be here the same day as the world's largest rubber duck.
So what, the city's gonna vote on expanding the social district, right?
Correct.
Coming out, yeah. So
that'll be before they'll probably take action one way or another on that prior to.
It kind of sounds like that's going to the next, that's on the next agenda. It sounds like that motion is going to get requested and approved at the next one possibly.
to expand the actual DDA
Yeah.
Yes.
district, yeah.
Well, not the DDA as much the social district.
Is there a hearing on that or is it just,
I don't know.
The social district one?
Yeah,
I mean,
They tabled it
yeah.
so that people could, well, they tabled it for the upcoming meeting so that people had time to
Time to
look at it.
comment.
because I think the last one was a little heated.
Yeah, because I think all that they were adding was the marina,
It's just the marina.
and I don't know why it was.
To go a little further west or
I thought there
Is the marina in the
North.
parking, is it the parking lot?
The parking lot in the marina.
players gets into that too now,
They
right?
wanted to get,
No, no,
players
they're
want
not
some-
part of the
That's
DDA.
a
They
lot
want
of-
to be in. That's a separate.
So
That's a
thing.
social
Yeah.
district.
Yeah, the social district is just the marina,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
the other side of the marina, yeah. Because the yacht club side is already in it. Is looking towards the
Gotcha.
boundary.
Yes.
expansion.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Different things.
Gotcha. All right. Never mind.
And it's not like, I mean, if anybody with brown trout thinks they could just walk around with a beer, they can. That's not how that works. So
No, they won't be able to,
they had to
because we didn't know if they would be able to apply for a permit and have the cups too.
Hmm.
So that was what, I know one of the questions that Brown Trout was checking into is if they would be able to apply for the social district license at the same time.
Hey, this is Ann. I don't know if you can hear me. I
Hey,
just joined
yeah, we
late. Hey, I have a comment about that. So they cannot get a social district permit. They still have to get their special nonprofit license as they normally would.
Okay, because I know that they were talking about checking with you to see if they could do their special license and then in addition get a social district license.
Yeah, they have to be a brick and mortar establishment
Okay.
with either a Class C or a DDA license or a club license to get the social
Okay.
district permit. But I'm happy to answer any questions about that with them.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Good.
All right, on the Harbor Masters report. Uh-oh.
Look at that smile. What do we got?
Yesterday, I got an email at noon from Waterways.
Cool.
We got the grant.
Wow. Good job.
Yes, so we did get awarded $150,000 from Waterways to match with our $156,000, and we are getting new docks on the fixed docks.
Wow.
Which is kind of huge because it's going to actually open up 4 more slips on the other side next year because the UDOC will go away.
Mhm.
And it's always been a hard sell for the UDOC for people other than for a few days. So that's going to be 4 new slips on the other side.
So that eliminates the bubblers and all that crap.
It eliminates the bubblers and everything else. The DPW director would love me to bubble the entire marina.
Well, yeah.
But it's $1,600 a month.
When is this going to happen?
Right now, I wanted to let you guys know first. Council is going to find out this Friday, and we will be possibly starting that project already this fall.
Wow.
Sweet.
Excellent.
What's this a different system than what we currently have or?
It'll actually be the floating docks similar to the ones that are on the Prentice Street side.
Okay.
It'll be those
Improved, I presume.
new and improved. I'm assuming no more styrofoam.
Yeah.
I think they go with the tanks that go in them now.
Geez, that's-
As part of that, we have to change the potable water because that potable water system runs along the bottom of that where they hook into. And so the water's going to have to move back. We're going to have to go in and fix all the water going into the slips again. That does not change the electrical because that's probably the best electrical we have in the entire marina.
Wow. Good.
And it fixes a little bit of sidewalk. Is it a Cadillac? No, but it's a heck of a lot better than we've got. The boaters that were along that side, I kind of pooled most of them last year on that. They want the center piles to stay in place. So
That'll be some expense.
yeah, it'll save some expense. I've kind of got what it'll be a little bit piecemealed because we'll actually have a bid for the docks themselves, and then I'll have a bid for somebody to come in and prep for the docks, basically.
So one thing you'll have maybe consider is the floating docks are a lot wider.
I already looked at that. We're fine. I measured
At the
that.
center pile,
Yep.
still pretty good space. Okay.
Yep, this between the center piles, they're actually still wider than you guys have over on your side.
Oh, okay.
So I was cool with that.
You don't want to move over there?
It'll be nicer.
Well, and you can park right in front of your slip. You know, it could make that side very desirable for people.
Yeah, just decent docks. Cool.
So I was jumping up and down in the office yesterday.
That's a real something that wasn't even in the radar screen last year. So
Yeah, I mean, so that was pretty exciting that one came through. And like I said, if we can kind of get everything together and get it moving, hopefully already this fall, I'm hoping by next spring they have new docks.
cool. Good.
That's the goal, current goal right now.
I sat next to Rachel at lunch today. I asked her, you know, as a talking point, I sure would like a little crib sheet that says, here's what has happened at the marina in the last 2 years. We've spent X amount of dollars. These are the improvements. You know, the clack.
Be fine.
I think it's important to, I don't know, whether you do a newspaper thing or whatever, but it's huge improvements. And I can't off the top of my head lay them out there. I mean, you guys know what we've spent. It's been a pile of money, right?
Yeah. It's been a pile of money, but not as much as you would.
No, but I think it'd be nice to just have a little,
bullet point team
says,
On the website,
We could.
improvements by year and.
Yep.
something like
Because
that.
the DDA did
I mean,
it,
I think you ought to take credit for what's been done, and I really do.
because the DDA did a cover of updates and things happening for the arena, but the news hasn't.
They didn't, and I was kind of shocked because I had like a 35-page report that I did to council at one meeting of everything that has happened since I was harbor master, basically.
I almost wonder if it's worth just prodding them.
Okay.
Just get someone down there. I mean,
just
to go like, hey, start of a new boating. I mean, last year they had a whole article where they're like, oh, boats in the slip. This is going to be a great season. But this year they actually have it's not just going to be a good season, but there's a lot of improvements that have happened too.
Yeah, and they did that last week, and nobody reached out to me. I don't think anybody reached out to me on it. They were down there doing kind of that story, and nobody ever actually reached out to us here at the
Okay.
So.
But I just think that's something we ought to do.
Yeah, we can, and it's something we can. I can.
I've been on here, long enough to where we had, one meeting a year.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we accomplish? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we ought to do a nice little expose on what's been accomplished.
Mm-hmm. City
take credit. I mean, you guys worked hard on this thing.
I have to give a lot of credit to my staff who, and I don't know why they every one of them bought into it. Every one of them bought into the vision and the dream.
Everyone sees the need. I mean,
yeah. Every one of those guys down there that ever worked with me down there has bought into the vision of what we want, the revitalization and everything else. And I got to give all the guys down there a lot of credit because every one of them has poured their heart and soul into this. Even the dock hands this year, I gotta say every one of them, did 3.5 hours of training one night after school. After going to school all day, came here and sat for 3.5 hours of the most mundane, boring training you've ever seen. And every one of them has been, rarely do you go down there and somebody's sitting on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
They're out cleaning the docks. They're out getting rid of spiders or weeding or whatever. So the deck hands, even the share have been, stepping it up and helping out just a ton. I think Madison, my Georgia Peach, has been down there every day weeding and everything else. So
good.
They have been really working hard. We unfortunately lost another marina tech. I was off for 10 days and got back to, hey, I need to talk to you. So lost one of our brand new marina techs. He is going to be going to Stoneport. So I do have an opening at the marina. It is currently posted over at DPW. We did have a sign from DPW. So there's a possibility we will immediate fill.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's the hope right now. It's lucrative for a new person coming in from DPW to go there because they're responsible for people. There's a pay raise, a pays bump that goes with it. So that is happening. We have, again, the guys that are down there right now. The one guy hates disorganization, so he is always and eternally moving and cleaning stuff up and everything else. Both renters have definitely signed on to, we want things clean, we want things neat, we want things organized. Arlene Reed, I think, spent 4 hours on Thursday before Memorial Day rearranging the parking lot, so we had all our parking and everything was neat and clean and picked up. So
Good.
Other than that, like I said, Cassie and I think 6 hours of training here this week for the state system. The kids did 3.5 hours between fueling boats and the state system abridged for them to be able to run it. So everything, we're moving and doing everything we can. We've had a lot of float-ins as far as people coming in. And again, people couldn't be happier about how nice the town is. The bathrooms have been clean and things like that. So anything you guys have as far as operational?
Were we,
Do you have any headway with the internet situation?
Because there's a chip in the parts we need, it's almost impossible to find the routers that we need in order to put everything out.
Okay.
Steve has been working on them. I'm seeing if he's on. Steve has been working on them pretty steadily, trying to get, he's in, you CWG and stuff like that. There are big companies that you go to for computer parts. He's walked away from them at this point in time, and he's going to the mom and pop store, seeing who has what on the shelf. So we are working towards that and getting it. The fiber is actually run out to the dock at this point in time. Hopefully we have a switch for out there, it sounds like, so we'll be able to get our phone system and everything up and running here shortly. And from there, it's a matter of plugging in these routers that will spread the Wi-Fi out. At that point in time, I will be able to password it so that only the people in the marina get access. So any complaints, or you guys heard anything on the locks?
No.
Okay.
Do we have, I don't even know how to use them.
You got to get a code.
I got that. I'm going to get that after the meeting.
You're going to get the app. I sent you
I got the
something.
app already. I just need the code.
You sent it. I sent it back to you. You should have another email from me.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Okay. The lock itself sent you an email.
Okay. I may have thought it was junk or something.
Yep.
Anyway, I have comments about the harbor.
I love comments about the harbor.
So Tanner and I were down there. You put that board up at the gas dock on the side, gas dock side. I think that should be extended
To the pump out.
to the pump out.
Okay.
Another 40 feet.
Yep.
There's
That lumber's cheap.
rings right there, and I think it should go down farther.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that was one thing. In that one, you're missing a pylon or on the one.
I don't know what it's called.
Is
the anchoring?
the anchoring mechanism. Is that going to be replaced, or is that just
Yes. That is I'm kind of holding out to see if the prices of the pipe come down.
Oh.
Those are all custom made little parts. So I'm kind of waiting to see what pipe does.
Yeah.
And then those have to be fabricated by our mechanical shop. Actually, I think Cooter could do it. So we're going to replace them. It's just a matter of
status of the electrical boxes again?
the electrical boxes are, depending on what we decide, which grant we want to apply for next year.
Okay. That's a project. Okay.
I did replace the electrical in like our 60-foot docks and up the head wall. I replaced those all with 50 amp service.
I'll need those, yeah.
So that was my thought, is that those should be 50 amp service, because that's typically when a boat comes in that's in those docks, they're a 50 amp boat. So I've done some upgrades on that and fixed those. Thunder Bay Electric is going to, or has done, went around and checked all the electrical outlets on all of them and checked them for grounding and workability.
Do we, on the posts though, are we thinking that we don't need to replace all of them? All 100 or so of them?
I was going to replace all of them except for the ones along Flagpole Row, just because you can't change the light bulbs in them anymore to get them to light without having to change everything inside of there because that light bulb is no longer available.
Okay.
So it'll be a retrofit back. I'm waiting for a bill to come in to see how bad it was to fix those 7 boxes.
Okay.
We can look at options as far as whether we just kind of bite the bullet and take that. I have $16,000 a year kind of set up to do maintenance on those.
Okay.
And maybe it is something where we can take that 16,000 and just do, if you guys are happy with the dock boxes you have, go through and just retrofit them and clean them up.
The other thing is, can we get some board, where the boom lift is in front of the marina? Yingling lift.
Yingling, okay.
When you put in the water, can we put some boards? Some boards, they've been, high water wrecked them. There's no boards there. They got washed away.
Okay.
They could put some boards in there. It would be great.
Some nice
'Cause
metal
there's
things sticking out there. Yeah.
So some rub boards like we put over at the gas docks. Okay.
Something like that. Easy peasy.
I might, because I don't know what was there before. I might have to grab one of you guys to show me.
There were like a series of them.
Yeah,
there
on the right hand, when you're standing at the
Mhm.
look to the right, there's some boards. We had them just like that.
Okay, not a
So
problem.
it was nothing spectacular.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just kind of, so there's some metal stuff sticking out of it. You just cover those up.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't need
This
any.
part, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that rub rail at the gas docks work good then that we put in there?
Oh, I look great. Yeah.
That's
Looks good. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
it
looks
looks good, but it looks good.
Yeah. I don't know how it works. I guess
Is there a bumper on there, rubber or
There's not a rubber bumper on there. I'm trying to figure out which one to buy.
but even,
Other?
most
Just so you
boaters will
don't
come
run
in
into the metal
slower
part.
anyway, because you
Yeah.
come up to docks without
Yeah.
bumpers sometimes, or you put them outside your boat. You just don't want to have those
Yeah.
metal things sticking out.
Yeah.
So that was actually some of the old Blair Street Pier.
Perfect. Cool.
So we upcycled.
Good.
retail guy doing?
Retail guy is getting stuff together. It's he's waiting on some shelving. He's kind of waiting on some product. Just some miscellaneous.
Right?
What?
One of his food licenses is still.
One of his food licenses is still out. Just a couple little things like that. So he
Still moving along.
yes, he's still chugging in that direction, but I'm thinking it's going to be end of June.
Yeah, he was making it sound like mid-June or something like that.
Yeah, mid-June, end June.
The library's working with him. And I'll
Mhm.
talk about this if we need to. He's accessing the archives to look at historic photos of the marina area and try to tell through some simple signage the history of that kind of marina area,
Mhm.
and maybe a little bit around to the bridge and stuff like that, trying to connect like kind of the two historic areas of the waterways. So that's something we're working with him on.
And then, yeah, I think he was, like I said, just some vendors and licenses and stuff like that. So he was still messing with some of that stuff. So he was definitely hoping by the end of June to have everything kind of squared up.
You know if he got a liquor license yet?
I don't know.
Could Cassie give us a report at our next meeting, like keep track of how we're doing on transient, maybe number of boats?
That's actually pretty easy for us to get out of that state system.
We have some idea how we're doing.
Yep.
And trying to measure, we've already measured it one way, the marina's full.
Mhm.
That's a good sign.
That's seasonal, yep.
So the other part is the transients. Those are the 2 components.
Mhm.
It'd be nice to see how we're doing with that too. Give us an idea.
That's actually a pretty easy report for me to get, Chiz.
What's the gas?
And I wonder what fuel prices are going to impact.
And I guess maybe, are we?
Fuel prices, I did some creative pricing. Creative pricing. That's what I'm going to use. We had a decent stock of rec gas that we wintered over with.
Okay.
So then I doubled up everything in the tank and averaged the prices.
Oh.
So I'm trying to keep rec gas down right now as long as I can. The first couple of weeks there, I sold it at last year's prices, trying to let people get their boats filled up.
That's good.
And then I dumped that much again into it, and we averaged the price then, trying to keep rec gas down. diesel, I didn't have a whole lot left, so I ended up fighting that price, but I'm depending on what diesel did today at the pump, I think I might be at or hovering right around that. Again, just trying to do everything I can to keep the prices down just because I know what it means to you guys. HARBORMASTER'S meeting, when I went to that at the beginning of May, their comment is that people were upset about the prices, but it didn't seem to be deterring their travel. I had one couple come in yesterday and he filled up the boat and he said it's about $400 more than it was last year when he filled up. So
I get a sailboat. We barely use their diesel tank.
It's not like you're.
I guess maybe that would be the other thing that would be interesting to know, gallons compared one year to the next, maybe gallons sold or
and
something.
I don't have that information.
The other one would be good to.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That information I don't have as far as what was.
But you'd have it now.
I have now, but I don't have.
That would be next year's comparison.
Yep. I kind of know about how many gallons he sold last year based on his price last year and numbers he gave me, but I can't compare apples to apples yet.
That would do.
Where are we at with the boats on the hard?
Boats on the yard. The Templar, the old AB Crow, actually is now going to be an Angel boat, which is Goodwill is going to sell it, and they will get it off our lot.
Okay.
One of those 1-800 get rid of my boat or whatever. They sell them for charity or whatever. So that will be leaving shortly.
Wow, cost of hauling that thing.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. The houseboat, the big houseboat, goes in tomorrow. Johnson, we think, goes in tomorrow.
The houseboat staying here? Or is he leaving?
The houseboat is going to Canada for the year.
Oh.
But it was in a good spot. We have the lift. He came here. He's hauled off. He's been sitting there in the corner contently working on his boat. And I guess it looks like a pro bass shop inside of it. And he's headed to Canada here shortly. And I don't know if he was coming back here to winter or what, but he's just, it just worked out that he came to Alpena. It looks like by the end of next week, it'll be pretty empty other than a couple of repairs. The Sea Scout needs some parts that'll hopefully be coming in shortly. A couple of boats that we're going to go in have some repairs that are happening. So there's just a couple of them. So hopefully we'll have everybody off the lot pretty quickly.
Good.
We were hoping anyways. So we kind of pushed, I sent out the email and we got response and, even I think slip fees were due June 1st and I think most people had them paid even, so.
Going good.
The only other thing we have is that we do have an opening on the board at this point in time. Ed Rutherford had to resign his position for personal reasons, so they've had more than their fair share here, I think, recently at their.
Our charter person would be the.
Yeah, I would be looking for a charter person or a day use. I'd like to see a charter person if we can. Just because that gives us that.
Yeah, I think that'd be an important piece if you could.
Yeah.
So any charter captains that we know, I was going to have Ed reach out to a few of them, and then I was going to send out an email over the kind of the waves there so that.
You got Pocket down there, you got.
Pocket, trying to think who else, Pocket.
Drawing a blank.
Wipeout, I can't think of his name either.
Ricky.
In Chum Bucket and. Do not, no.
Yeah, you gotta.
So, I mean, there's possibilities. Yeah, there's possibilities out there. And even if.
Put out an RFP.
If we can't attract somebody, maybe a day use boater then would be nice at that point in time, just because we would get, again, that whole demographic also, so. And the other one I gotta reach out again on is a youth member through youth and government. We have that in our bylaws that we could have a youth member.
Be a non-voting
Yep,
Good idea.
voice.
youth and government. Are you in that? Okay.
Good.
Obviously, it's not going to be River. But there's an actual class that they kind of go through and do that. So we'll reach out to them and see if they have a youth member that would be interested in sitting on the harbor advisory. Fisherman, something like that.
Cool. Public comment. Cool.
Do you want me to comment? Oh, do you want me to comment as staff or public? This is Ann.
Whatever. Go ahead, Ann.
Okay. Sorry I missed the Fresh Waves discussion, but I just wanted to check in and see if there were any questions that needed to be answered by myself.
Where do you want your flower pot?
Is there an extra space at
no.
the harbor? Slip 28.
How big?
Okay.
I'll put it around on the boat.
How big is the pot?
Perfect.
Turning the screws on the last panel.
Yeah. I don't think we had anything for you, Ann.
Okay,
It got
awesome.
approved, so.
Okay, awesome. Then I'll be in touch with you and the artist to figure out painting details and get the artist agreement sent over to her. So thank you guys so much. Our committee was really excited about the location, given how prominent it is for people that come and visit Alpena, and all the investment that's happening there. So I'm glad the committee's on board with it too.
Good. Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Thanks.
So member comment?
Where's going to be the front door for the Marina store? Will that be off of
It'll be waterside.
Okay.
I don't know how to, yeah.
Fence purposes. Okay.
Yep. He said that other one, he's going to have it for public can come in and out that way, but it's mostly going to be for deliveries.
So his signage or whatever he does will be an element on that side of the.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be on that side. Then again, I'm hoping when I was off last week, Brandy, my intern, actually measured everything up. So I'm hoping here, once budget is approved at this next meeting, to send out an RFP to do siding and windows on those two sides. And actually windows in the entire storefront area. And depending on how that price comes back, possibly some windows in the shop area.
Good. Yeah, those windows are pretty tired.
That would be an understatement.
Staff comments? All right. Next meeting, July 7th or August.
Okay, I forgot this. Yes, discussion with you guys. Do you guys feel we need to have a July meeting?
Would there be any benefit in your mind for that?
I have nothing that is pressing on an agenda for an agenda item. We really busted out a lot of stuff that needed to be done. Had some long meetings and got through master plan, got through SOPs, got through a lot of stuff like that. This side of an SOP for the youth sailing or the youth members of our community, I can't see a reason to have a meeting in July with it being the middle of summer.
I agree.
Us trying to get stuff done at the marina, things like that. The only, and maybe it's not an actual meeting, maybe it's something where we try to do a Marina Pride project or something possibly with the community.
So maybe just plan for the August 4th and for whatever odd reason.
Yes.
Feel like we need to do it July, we can do it July.
I can call a special meeting if we have to in July.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Works for me. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Yeah.